If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new album in the description. We got some news on Travis Scott, Utopia, the album that we're so impatiently waiting for and that we've gotten several hints for. The last time I dropped a video on this is quite a while ago. We've talked about the billboards, we've talked about, all the different hints we got, but today, or over the past 2 to 3 days, we've got more and more information as to what's really going on with this. So in this video, I wanted to give a very educated guess on maybe a release date on what's been happening with Utopia and what we can actually expect from it. So let's jump straight into this. So as I said, a lot of videos already done. Check out the playlist if you want the full chronological order of how things happened and evidence got released. But today I want to focus on new material that we got, because there's quite a bit of it. So the first thing I want to go over is already the biggest piece of evidence, which is an announcement that he posted on his Instagram for a show in London. Now, he took to Instagram to post this. You can see it says Travis Scott London, the O2 Live on August 6th. Now, August 6th, if you look at the calendar, is a Saturday, and that's going to be very important for later on. Well, the show itself, there's not a lot we can tell about this. The O2 is a pretty cool location for a show, and I like that he's doing this in London and, for example, not in Houston or even in the United States. The fact that he's going to London for this, I think, is pretty dope. But that's not all of it, of course. There's the show. You can cop tickets, even though I think it's sold out already, so maybe not anymore. But the caption is actually what is way more interesting, because he took to the caption for this post and said, "Been in the studio for a while. Time to take it to bigger speaker. See you soon, London." And then, of course, all the dates, the general sale, priority sale, all of that. But this is big. I think this is big. He's saying, been in the studio for a while. Why was he in the studio? He was working on Utopia. We know that Utopia is still coming. We don't know in what form, if Dystopia will still be before Utopia, if that will be the mixtape leading up to the big album, just like Days Before Rodeo was for Rodeo and Birds in the Trap was for Astroworld. We've talked about this theory quite extensively in other videos. All the details on that are not clear, but we know something is coming. And he's saying he's been in the studio working on that, and now he says time to take it to a bigger speaker. So the stuff that he's been working on in the studio, namely Utopia or Dystopia, whatever, he's now going to perform in London. And I think that this is a pretty clear indication that what he will be performing is going to be new material, because otherwise he wouldn't say, I've been in the studio for a long time, now it's time to take it to a bigger speaker, because all the stuff that he's dropped in the past has already been taken to a bigger speaker. So that's a pretty clear hint as to, the fact that he's going to perform new material. If it'll actually be the album, unclear, but this goes hand in hand with a theory that I said to y'all. It's quite interesting that the day that this is happening is a Saturday, August 6th, and the day before is obviously a Friday, August 5th, and albums usually drop on a Friday. So there's a big possibility that Travis Scott could be dropping Utopia on August 5th, and then we'll be taking it to London to perform it live and bring it to a bigger speaker after he's been, just in the studio for so long. And this is already what people were saying. People were like, Utopia is coming, Utopia listening party, Utopia August 5th, all of that. So people are kind of hopping onto this theory and this kind of way of looking at it. Of course, it is kind of weird that he would, do a listening party or like the first live performance for this very big album for Travis Scott fans in London, and not in like Houston or any other big American city, because that's like the people that have been waiting for it the most. So like at least Houston to give it back to his hometown. The whole Astroworld theme was connected to Houston. Maybe he's trying to take it international this time, but that's one argument I got going against it, at least, that is in London. There's more stuff to this though, because he did tweet only a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, so after this announcement, he took to Twitter to say, been running off 2 days no sleep in the studio. So he's saying he's in the studio, saying he's working on something, just like he already confirmed that Instagram post. So it's likely going to be Utopia or whatever album he got coming next, and he's just confirming that. And if he goes 2 days with no sleep, that means he's in the finishing stages of it, needs to pull all-nighters to get it all together. Also, I want to very interestingly point out that Jid commented on that and said, send me that beat. So Jid, or JID, however you want to call him, is very likely going to be featured featured on this new Utopia record. That I think that's pretty dope, at least as a JID fan myself. I really like that. The last hint we got towards this was the Billboard Music Awards, where he performed those songs Lost Forever that we knew as a leak but then never really got as a single, but there was supposed to be a track off of Utopia. So if he's performing that already, then likely there will be something coming. And so this all just has been adding up and adding to the theory and adding flames to it that Utopia is coming pretty soon. And not to mention the fact that most people were already expecting a summer 2022 release of this thing, and August 5th would be like the perfect time for him to release this. I believe Astroworld dropped around the same time. I think it was late July or very like early to mid-August. Astroworld dropped in 2018. I still remember that. So this is likely also going to follow in the same way as that. It would just make sense. Travis Scott taking over the summer. And I really like that I didn't see a lot of people in the comments just being like, no, he needs to, take longer off to get retribution for the Astroworld festivals on November 5th. I think that whole thing is kind of through. He's done a lot for the families of the affected people, the HEAL organization and stuff like that, and I don't think the blame is entirely on him, but the very sensitive topic. But I'm saying that I'm happy that Travis Scott is back and he can at least roll out this album in a good way. That is not a takeaway from the tragic, fates of all these people that were at Astroworld Festival, but I just want to say that whenever Travis did something in the past, even back when the Billboard Music Awards happened, people were the first to be like, yo, no, how can you do this? This is so disrespectful. But at this point, it's kind of like, what is he supposed to do? I'm liking that he's dropping a new album. I never thought that the blame was entirely on him for what happened on November 5th. So, I'm happy he's back. That's all I gotta say. So Travis Scott, Utopia is getting closer to release. We've gotten these new hints as to a listening party in London on August 6th, which is a Saturday, and then the Friday before he could drop Utopia. He's saying he's been in the studio, also confirmed by another tweet saying that he's, finishing something up in the studio. It gotta be new album. We also know that JID is gonna be on that album, and August 5th seems like a pretty cool date because that is also around the same time when Astroworld dropped. So it would just make sense for it to have that summer release date that we always thought it would have. So that's the news on this new Travis Scott album. Of course, now the very interesting part is all of your thoughts, all of your opinions, your theories, whatever you got on this. Do you think that this is coming on August 5th? What do you think that London event is for? Do you think that JID is actually on here? Does that confirm that? What do you think he's working on while in the studio so heavily? How he's always teasing it? All of your thoughts on what I just said, all of that, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.